VLMA, Season 2, Episode 12.
GFN, Global Filipino Network.
Welcome to VILMA Live in LA on the GFN channel, Facebook Live, and YouTube Live with your host, me, VILMA, in the studio. Okay, so tonight, Season 2, Episode 12, we have Part 3 of JAYME Woj's interview. So JAYME Woj is an actor, a film producer, also a stunt coordinator, music artist, plus he's going to tell you about his podcast, Mindful Being, and also give advice on how to get into the industry. So that much more. And I will be introducing to you a new artist that I am producing as well. So that's coming up. Plus, we have our Save the Dates, June 12 and 13 activities in the U.S., in the Bay Area, and globally. So you'll find out more about that. Plus, we have our Route 66. So LA is kind of opening up, and it's nice just to go out and about. So I'm going to have a little bit of a series called VILMA Out and About in Los Angeles / Hollywood. Okay, so that on VILMA Live in LA. Hello to all of our regular viewers out there. You know who you are. I love you, and I will be chatting away, saying hi to everybody. Now, that is pretty awesome. So on with the show. So, VILMA goes out and about in Los Angeles, in Hollywood, Santa Monica, etc., etc. VILMA out and about in Los Angeles. Ever wonder Route 66? Yeah. If you're familiar with this song, did you know that the end of Route 66 is right in Santa Monica, right in our backyard? So let's kind of explore Route 66. Save the date events, here they are. Solo event in San Bruno, June 12th. And also June 12th and 13th, a global event. And it's coming out of New York, London, Manila, Australia, Italy, Dubai, Thailand, Vietnam, Singapore, Hong Kong, and Los Angeles. So I'll be hosting the Hong Kong and Los Angeles part, so do stay tuned. have your own podcast.
I do, yes.
Yes.
It's mindful being. Yes.
Mindful being. And mindful being, again, it's another title that's well thought out. What's behind that?
Yeah, so I co-hosted a podcast for a few years called Civil Discourse. And the premise of it was that we were talking about kind of sensitive topics. We talked about religion, we talked about politics, we talked about race, we talked about all these things. And the point of it was how to have mindful conversations and productive conversations around it. Because I think a lot of people want to have meaningful conversations around sensitive topics. They just don't know how. And in that process, I was just meeting a lot of cool people. So with mindful being, it's kind of an extension of that. But in this, I'm talking to different people from all walks of life, kind of about their mindfulness practice, whatever that means to them. And welcome to the Mindful Being Podcast. I'm JAYME.
I like it because your title is Mindful Being, meaning you're very respectful of others' opinions. And so how are they able to, express it without hurting anybody's feelings? I'm so careful with words that I choose, because once you hurt someone's feelings, you can't take it back. So mindful being is a very good focus. One of the things that I'm also, I always make sure is I don't talk about religion and politics on my show, simply because I've been doing that even on radio when I used to do radio, because it's a very divisive topic. And I don't go there. Maybe privately, yes, but again, I still practice mindful being.
So we never talked about our own personal, political affiliations or beliefs. It was more, for me, it was always, I think, especially in America, we have a tendency to engage from a place of judgment and having an opinion, and kind of wanting to fight for our opinion when we're talking to someone, as opposed to talking to someone to try to understand where they're coming from and the different life experiences and things like that. When they approach and truly trying to understand, they may still disagree at the end, but they've found some kind of common ground, or at least started a productive conversation that can lead to something positive, as opposed to, I think what we see a lot is kind of the divisiveness and the kind of just yelling and getting really upset with each other.
You're amazing. You're such an evolved person.
Thank you.
I can understand your thinking, because I think exactly the same way. That's why I'm going, yes, I get it. I get it. Yeah, because, I actually just wrote a song last night, and it really talks about how we're one soul, one heart, one human race. There's really no difference. So I love that. So now let's go on a different thing.
Okay.
You lived in LA, and now you're in New York. How is it like? Tell us.
I mean, it's a little challenging because I moved to New York in May, which was right in the middle of COVID. So my New York experience living here is probably not the typical experience. I mean, I'm originally from Buffalo, New York, so I spent a lot of time in New York City visiting as a kid. I think the great thing about LA is that, especially being in the industry, and it's a pro and a con, is that everybody's in the industry. So no matter where you go, you're kind of surrounded by creative people doing similar things that you are. I mean, it's very easy to find people who think similarly to you and have the same interests and things like that, which is nice. But it's also nice in New York to, you know, go to a coffee shop and not have every single person there working on their screenplay. And actually like be with, you know, people on a business call and people of different walks of life. So it's a pro and a con. I mean, the weather is a lot better in LA. That's for sure. Which I think actually adds a lot because, I mean, I grew up in Buffalo and then I lived in Chicago and then I was in Scotland, which is dark, I mean, a good portion of the year. And I never really believed in seasonal depression or any of those things until I lived in LA and it was in the middle of winter and I'm like, who wants to go have a meeting or go for brunch or go to the park or do something? And I'm like, I would never do that in Chicago or New York. It's too cold. I'd just be staying home.
So in New York, you are sword master and fight coordinator at the Academy of Theatrical Combat. So how's that coming about? And congratulations on that new venture.
Yeah, well, we talked about Diana, who was on the podcast in our earlier episode.
Yes.
So I met Diana at the Academy of Theatrical Combat in LA, where I trained for many years and was an instructor there as well. And then when I came to New York, I started meeting people in the stunt community and just seeing what was kind of offered pre-COVID, just normally. There's a lot of stage focus in the stunt world here, obviously, because of Broadway.
Yeah.
But I wasn't seeing real film fight training in the way I love to do it. And so I was in conversations with the owners of the Academy in LA about kind of possibly opening a branch here. And we found a way that we're all very excited to do it. So we're starting now. I think with just COVID, I wanted to just kind of be a little more free. So we're offering kind of as a tester, free sword play in the park sessions that are going to start probably in May and be once a week. And then we're hoping to open a physical location. I'm probably thinking sometime in September. About it is, I mean, some of the unarmed fighting stuff is close combat, but a lot of the weapons you naturally stay far away from each other. So it's kind of, when you have a sword, it's kind of a natural stay 6 feet away. So
Park is a great place. That is true. Stay away from me. Yes. Okay, so we actually met at Diana's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
How nice is that? Yeah.
That's very nice.
You know, you meet this person, and eventually you're friends.
Because I think we met too at like did she have Thanksgiving? Were you at her Thanksgiving?
Yes.
So it was twice. Yeah.
How awesome. Okay, so any advice to anyone out there that would like to pursue, first of all, acting?
Yeah, I mean, if you're not trained, the first step is to get training. And I mean, the best training is in New York and LA. The great thing now is all the classes are remote. So people can have access to the top acting coaches in the country, really, from their home. And it was really never like that before. So I would say take advantage of that. And then, yeah, make your own work. Be making stuff, even if it's just to learn and to experiment, because we're at the stage where you can literally take your phone and make something cool. So there's really no excuse. Right. The old in the past, it was your job was to audition, and that was really what your job was. And then every once in a while, maybe you book something. Where now it's just not the case. Your job's to be working, and if other people aren't hiring you to work, you need to create your own. It's just the reality of it. So, and it's fun.
Yes. So that's good. And to get into being a stunt person, your advice.
Yeah, the first thing to ask yourself is what stunt person you want to be. Because if you want to do extreme stunts, driving, jump, fire stunts, those are all very specific things that you need to find whoever is the master of that and where they get training and train at those places and those people tend to be very focused. That's the thing they do. If you want to be a stunt fighter, or what is now being termed as an action actor. So it's the stunt people you see but are on camera, might have a line, might not have a line, versus just doing doubling of things that a normal person can't do. The best thing there is to do some form of martial arts training that really excites you, and then to go train with stage combat, any of those, so that you learn the difference of how to make those things work on camera. It's kind of the two facets.
Yeah. Filmmaking and producing.
Yeah, it's the same as acting. Just do it. There's no excuse to not. If you want to produce something, if you want to write and self-produce and do it, you have no excuse not to. You can do it with just your phone, all the way up to doing it with a major production. And so it's all about just experimenting.
So thank you so much, JAYME. You've been amazing, and I do appreciate you on the show.
Thank you.
Let's not fight tonight. Let's pretend like we are meant to be, just for a moment. Can you stop smothering me? Maybe it's time to let this all go. Maybe it's time we break into corners. These battles have left me beaten, but I keep fighting to reach the end.
So here's a song that I'm working on, and I hope you guys like it. Here I am, thinking of you. Can't ignore my feelings for you. Don't know if you're feeling the same way too, 'cause I'm thinking of you. I'm thinking of you. I'm thinking of you. I'm thinking of you. My artist is Joe Bell. And don't forget, we've got Coco Abigail with her new single coming up, Na 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 Na.
Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Vilma D. Ramos. On Instagram, Vilma Live in LA. Subscribe to that and GFN channel. My music is on Spotify, Reverb Nation, also on YouTube Music and SoundCloud. Plus, we have them on Apple Music, iTunes, and much, much more. My website is vilma.me. Again, subscribe to Instagram, Vilma Live in LA. Every day is a good day with you.
GFN Global Filipino Network.
And thank you so much for joining me on Vilma Live in LA. You guys have been so wonderful as always. Okay, so join me next week for more of Vilma Live in LA. Of course, that's season 2, episode 13 coming out for you. In the meantime, you guys stay safe and be kind, be courageous, be loving, be lovey-dovey good. So from me to you, I love you, and here's my heart. Ding.